Hello, beach friends. Today's video is a little different from the usual shelling days. This time I'm walking two very different shores, Florida's East Coast and then the West. I have similar goals at each location, but I found very different stories. This isn't a story about how much the beach gives generously all at once. Instead, it was quiet, slow, the kind of shelling where you walk a little further, you look a little closer, and you learn to notice what's already there. Today, I didn't find a multitude of shells, but some of the ones I did find were absolutely epic for me. And a few of those bucket list shells remind me why I keep coming back. So today isn't about how much fits in a bucket. It's about the contrast between coasts, the patience of walking, and the small, unexpected gifts the ocean leaves behind when you're willing to take your time and stay vigilant. So today we're going to start our adventure over on the east coast of Florida. So if you're ready to see what all is out there for us today, let's go to the beach. Okay, we are starting over on the East Coast, and I wanted to get here before the sun came up. So mission accomplished. There is a huge escarpment here. The tide is a little bit high right now. It will be going out, although I have found on the East Coast it doesn't matter that much because most of the shelling that I do is kind of in the upper rack lines anyway, but there's no rack lines. There's just sand. And so I have my concerns. But the reason I came over here is I wanted to see something different. I've been shelling on the West Coast. Obviously, I do that all the time. And so I really just wanted to do something different. So I wanted to pop over to the East Coast. And I had been saying the East Coast, this particular beach has never skunked me before. But today might be the day. We'll see. All right, here is a sea coconut, or what I think is what we call a sea coconut. So, all right, found something. Now that it could, I'm not exactly sure. It could be either a calabash or a laurelwood fruit or bean or seed. Not sure, but I wasn't finding shells, so I found some seeds. Oh, it's gonna be a pretty sunrise. It's not gonna be one of those crazy red, fiery, and that's fine. Still very, very pretty. Okay, here we go. Now this is a broken giant coquina. So they have some cool stuff on the East Coast. They've got bubbles that are a lot bigger. This is actually a different species, the giant coquina. And then I'm always expecting to see the spectral bittersweets, but this is the first one. So I'm 3.5 minutes into the video and I've only just found a spectral bittersweet. So yep, conditions are rough. All right, here's a little scallop. I want to call it a calico scallop. Yeah, I think that might be, I'm pretty sure that's a calico scallop. All right. That is so, on a day like today, I will take anything. Like this looked promising. No. Nope, it's just grit. I mean, there's just not even tiny shells. It's just a lot of broken shells compared to there being a lot of nothing. Yeah, and I'm gonna call it. Yeah, I was here for a while. I cut a bunch out. I mean, it's just seaweed and sand. There's just not a lot here. But because I got here so early, I'm gonna head to another beach here on the East Coast. Now here we have a shark eye. Okay, that's cool. Not a false shark eye, so we have a true shark eye. And I do like the little bit of that tan color. And an incongruous arc. Now, I would love one of these in good condition. It's on the right, you can kind of see like beading. I don't know what else to kind of call it. I'm dying to find one of those in good condition, as well as one of these. So this is an Atlantic deer cowrie, broken clearly, and I have yet to find a cowrie intact. Not myself, I have not found one yet. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just to pieces. I'm going to hold on to it. But I am going to leave here and I'm going to head over to another beach. It's about a half-hour away. So now we're at Juno Beach. And here you can get seashells and you can get shark teeth. So I kind of have that in the back of my head too, knowing that that is here as well. Although frankly, I just want to find a couple shells. I mean, sometimes I'll say just one. Just give me just one good shell and I'll be happy. Okay, here's a couple. All right, this is looking a bit more promising than it was over at the other beach. All right, I do see some little bit of white smattering here. Oh, terrific. It's gonna rain. Awesome. All right, well, here's a piece of wampum. So this is a broken northern quahog. The southern quahogs that we find, they don't have that purple on them. So that's an easy tell. That is a piece of northern quahog wampum. All right, at least here there are shells. The problem is that they're like literally all spectral bittersweets, and which is fine, except that's not a very exciting video. I don't want to stand here for 10 minutes picking up the same seashell. So I'm going to wander around in the rain. Now, at least it's winter, so I don't have to worry about the lightning. So whatever, I threw my coat on. I mean, I was a little bummed out. This kind of felt like, you know, the beach, the weather just was not working out for me. So here is a giant bittersweet. What's interesting is the drill hole because these shells are thick. So whoever drilled a hole in that was very, very hungry. And that is where these critters, bittersweet, get their name because they taste bittersweet. Yep, it's raining. The color of the water is still kind of pretty though, right? And I've never, at least in my memory, I haven't been over on the East Coast in winter. I was really hoping there are some purple shells. There's some other types of shells that can typically show up. And I was kind of hoping, although honestly now that could very well be the best shell I find today. Or at least that was what I was thinking in my head because yeah, it was one of those days. And then a cowrie. Oh, finally. Yay, yay. So first of all, it's my first cowrie. I've never found an intact cowrie, probably for my lack of coming over to the East Coast. That is fantastic. So I'm very excited at this point. So that, unfortunately, it's a thrush cowrie. What does that mean? Well, the thrush cowries are invasive. And so they're over here. They don't have natural predators. They're eating up all the resources that our native cowries might actually need. So it's exciting for me, but it's a little bittersweet when I got home and kind of figured out it was a thrush cowrie. But I did get this, which was kind of cool. So this is an American star shell. I also have never found one of these. I thought it might be a long spire or a green star shell, but the bottom's different. That looks a little bit more sundial-y to me. But that is an American star shell, which is also exciting. Now, it's rather beat up, so that's a starter shell. So I'm going to hold on to that until I find a better version of it. So that'll just be in my little special box. Now, this was kind of cool. So this is a jingle with a jingle byssus on it. What do you mean, Charmin? Well, the byssus is that thing that the animal uses to attach itself to substrates. So when you find a jingle that is intact, it'll have both valves. The bottom has a hole in it because that's where the byssus kind of goes through. So that is an intact jingle with the hole in the bottom. And then I happen to find, so this is the jingle with its byssus. So that little knob there, I know I'm really nerding out. That is the byssus from a jingle. And I've seen that little thing on other shells before for years, and I never knew what it was. So mystery solved. That little thing there is the byssus from a jingle shell. So that was kind of fun. That was a kind of fun thing to find. This is a frond oyster. Yeah, that is also kind of swell. I do like the fringe on it. They're very fancy, the frond oyster. And there was this patch of shells here, and I spent, I don't know, half hour. I mean, I just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And so I'm going to grab the pretty spectral bittersweets. As promised, I won't stand here for 10 minutes picking up all of the same specimen. Here is a giant bittersweet, which is kind of fun. I've been finding those periodically over on my coast. So that's kind of, and it's in really good condition. I like that. So that's a giant bittersweet with that nice color. Here is, here is a shark tooth. Well, you know, I might have passed that up if I didn't know they were here. It's hard when you're looking for one thing. It's hard to have your brain concentrate on several things at the same time. So I'm quite tickled at this point. It's not a shell, but I'm really happy I got this shark tooth treasure. Oh, cool. And might as well snag the spectral bittersweet while I'm here. Okay, here's another giant bittersweet. It's a little bit lighter. And another. Okay, good, good. Got some darker color on there. Okay, there was an auger. Terrific. And a mossy arc. So there was a couple of things, but yeah, not much. Now this weird thing, I don't know what this is. I'm leaning toward a piece of bone and a piece of bird bone because I heard bird bones are hollow. So I don't know. I'm making that, well, I don't know if I'm making that up. I did hear that. So I don't know what it is. This weird thing, I'm just going to hold on to that. If anyone else knows what that weird thing might be, by all means, leave a comment down below. So that's going to wrap up my East Coast trip. I did want to see something different. So mission accomplished. I did get a cowrie, a shark tooth, and that American star shell. So it was not for naught. But now we're heading over to Lover's Cay. So by the magic of editing, we are now on the west coast of Florida. And I've decided to take you over to Lover's Cay. Now, I was hoping for really great things because the weather had been predicting for very high winds. So there had been high winds for a couple of days. And that's why I was hoping there'd be something here. Now, I don't know if high winds is like, it's either feast or famine. Because right now I'm seeing famine. There's a lot of famine here. This is a shell desert. All right, here's an egg cockle or a painted egg cockle. So Lover's Cay has been producing a lot of these painted egg cockles ever since the dredging here. So that's kind of fun. At least we're going to go home with at least a couple of shells today. And this is a cross-hatched lucine. I got to take a good look at the pattern on it so I can tell. Yeah, that is a cross-hatched lucine. Oh, little calico scallop. And what I think is a Dosinia lucine. I think that's what that little guy is. That seems like cheating. A Dosinia lucine, but that's what it is. And a calico scallop. Oh boy, I'm all the way at the end of the island. Yeah, it's pretty slim here today. But it was Atlantic giant cockle. So if you were in the market for one of those, there were many. Everyone who showed up could have taken a couple. And I don't know why that. It happens, you know, like sometimes it'll be angel wings, sometimes it's nutmegs. Okay, here's an urchin, a short-spined sea urchin. This is expired as well as this one. So they've really come back, which is great to see. Yeah, they're a little bit too much cleanup for me. Yep, I am that much of a brat. And a paper fig, a half of a paper fig. Okay, yep, that's... Okay. Yeah, there were tons of those cockles. That was, like I said, kind of fun. Need to check the water just in case. All right, see a coconut. And yeah, it's looking pretty flat here too. And that's why I say I love a messy beach. But there's a little bit of messiness at the end. I'm not overly concerned. I know I just kind of got here. I'm all the way at the end. I'm sure there'll be treasures here. Okay, this is kind of fun. So this are kitten paws. Now they do attach themselves to substrates. In this instance, it's chosen a dark seraph. So this dark seraph is just absolutely decorated in kitten paws. I think that's kind of fun. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm not going to try to pick those off. Now I thought this was a jingle until I got a better look at it. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's got a straight hinge. That is actually a pearl oyster. Look at that. It's missing all its periostracum and it's not looking very mother of pearl-ish. But yeah, that's what that is. So that is an Atlantic pearl oyster. Go figure. Not in great shape, but that's what that is. All right, here's a little bit of mess. Oh, an egg cockle. So not to be confused with the painted egg cockle. This is just common egg cockle. So they are different species. This one gets quite a bit bigger than the smaller painted egg cockle. Cool. So yeah, speaking of cockles, I do like these. I mean, there's just so many. I certainly have my pick. And these are also called heart cockles. Very cool. All right, here is an intact paper fig. Okay. Lovely. Yeah, they're the same kind of shape as the parwelk, but that is a paper fig. There's an urchin. It's kind of cleaned out. I think I'll probably take that home. Yeah. You never know. Like sometimes they break in transit. Some of them are just not meant to be. That is a little striate bubble. I was really hoping to find, I want to find more on the East Coast. They get like 4 times that size. They get really big. And, oh, chestnut turban. Oh, with some kitten paws. Yeah, they just kind of, I poked them off. All right. So that is a little chestnut turban with a little bit of that coil worm stuff on it. And, oh, yeah, that is a colorful moon snail. Sure wish we had met sooner. Yep, it's a little pitted. Yeah, it's been here a minute. But maybe someone else can use that as a starter shell, so we'll leave that. See what else might be here. Oh, a little sand dollar. Yeah, this one's fine. I was finding live ones as well, but this one is safe to keep. It's bald. Doesn't have any little hairs or anything on it. Lovely little sand dollar. And an auger. Okay. Good. So it's a little slim, but even in Florida, when it's slim, there's still plenty of stuff here. Our worm snail. All right, I know they're kind of shaped. So one eats worms and one kind of eats sponges. That is a calico scallop. And another calico scallop. All right, terrific. So this is why I come out here, really just to see what's out here. What else we got? Oh, a little Florida prickly cockle. And every once in a while, something really exciting. Literally, my heart was hammering in my chest. So this is a Scotch bonnet, and it's very exciting to find on the west coast of Florida. They're just impossible. I clearly see there's a big hole in it, but it's still a cool find. And having that rush of adrenaline, oh, it just is really, really fun. So it's kind of a mess, but it just was fun. So here is my Lover's Key Scotch bonnet. Very cool. An alternate talon. Isn't that pretty? Okay, yeah. Clearly it is not. I don't have to worry about it being alive. So that is an alternate talon. And the next thing you know, at this point, I'm literally screaming in my head. I'm going, ah! I'm screaming in my head. And I bend down and I'm like, oh my God, it's a fulgurator olive. I only dream of these things. So this is shell show season, and I've been going to a couple of shell shows, and it was like the day before I was fondling some of the olives, the darker olives, and to find it on the beach by myself, it just was really, really fun experience. And plus, I've really wanted one of these olives, so I am just tickled beyond belief. So yep, that's a fulgurator. They also call it a Bowling's olive. Oh, I'm just over the moon. Bucket list shell. Absolute bucket list. And I don't normally do this, but I'm going to comb back through this area because of that, between the Scotch bonnet and that olive. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty darn good. So this is a spiny jewel box. Fun. A lot of times they'll have a very purple interior. It's very spiny all over the place. So that's kind of nice. And then, yep, these are my favorite. The Florida Fighting Conch. Yep, it's all pointy and it's a juvenile, but still really pretty. It's really kind of giving Queen Conch vibes, that one. Another auger. Gorgeous. Oh, now here's a lettered olive. And this is a great opportunity, yep, to look at these olives together. The lettered olive is like taller. So that Bowling's olive is a little bit shorter. They call it a brownie too. Oh, look at how gorgeous. And I was just so happy that it was in a good condition, because sometimes I'll keep my first placeholders, but oh, I'm just so tickled with that shell. All right, there's some calico scallops. Wouldn't really shake a stick at those either. Another worm snail. Yeah, the southern part of Lover's Cay is pretty good for worm snails. That seems to be pretty consistent place. Okay. So yeah, not a lot of sand, lots of seaweed, but there's still treasures here. So here's some jingles without their little byssus on them. Yeah, I'd rather go through even broken shells than just there being nothing. Oh man, this was such a bummer because it's in really good condition other than the fact it's missing like a third of it. So this is a round ribbed scallop, or we just call them a flat. I don't know how that happened because it's not like we have, I'm thinking like a turtle bit it. I don't know what else could have happened. I'm going to hold on to it just in case. Just in case. Not a lot of rhyme and reason to what I decide to keep and not keep. This, I'm going to keep. This is a pear whelk. I do like the drill holes. I think that they're kind of cool. I find it like a little decoration, something a little special. Oh, and a scorched mussel. Yeah, they only get so big, little tiny thing. So I don't know that I necessarily have a big collection of those, but that is a scorched mussel. Now I thought that the pattern on this was kind of pretty. So this is another one of those painted egg cockles, but the little like mountain pattern, that's kind of pretty. All right, we're moving into the rose petal Tellin section in a moment. Another little sand dollar. Aww. Or sand quarter, really. Okay, here is another calico scallop. Ooh, that one is pretty. Yeah, I do like, frankly, just a plain white scallop. Yeah, those are great too. So that's a calico. Yep, that's a calico too. Different patterns, just ever slightly different. Beautiful, just the white. I think they're so pretty. Yep. So we have a nice variety of calico scallops down here. And here's a rough scallop with some more of those little coil worm things on it. That will kind of pop off. Bleach helps it. Or you can decide to leave it. That's a cool thing about shelling. There's no real rules per se, other than like don't shell right on top of someone else. Be kind. The usual just kind of social interaction kind of rules we would go by. Now, at this point, we've been to the East Coast, we've been to the West Coast. I found a couple of really great shells. I am going to be quiet and let you enjoy some beach time. The rose petal Tellin. Can't think of another shell that is just so fun to find. The whole shell is pink. And maybe the large Strigilla, but that's an East Coast shell. So over here on the West Coast, the rose petal Tellin. These are the ones, they're not always pink. They do come in white as well, although I do prefer the pink. So I just spent a couple of minutes picking up a couple of those rose petal Tellins. And then there's also another muddy section back here. There was no crown conchs. There was a couple of little night herons. So they're busy doing their night heron thing. And I slopped around, for a little while, but not today. Today there were no keepers of crown conchs, so we'll just keep it moving. Now this Sunray Venus clam was kind of fun because, well, it broke at some point and the animal just kept on going. So it repaired it. You can tell the color's a little weird. You can tell on the inside also the repair kind of was internally and externally. So yeah, just different. They can be really resilient, some of these shells. I found them where they're just about cracked in half, and yet somehow they repaired it, kept on going. Here is another Atlantic pearl oyster in terrible condition. But still, again, just kind of fun to find. I think I'm going to hold on to that. I could go either way with something like that. Hard to say. Oh, no. Oh, no, buddy. Yeah, you're on the sand. Let's get you in the water. And what am I wearing today? I think I'm wearing my scuba boot shoes. So I can get my feet wet. It's not the end of the world. It's not terribly warm out per se, but it's not freezing by any means. Very nice day out here. All right, that is just a jingle. Not to be confused with the Atlantic pearl oyster. So that is just a jingle. Again, sans its little byssus. That is okay. What do we got here? Oh, a purplish Tagalus. Delightful. Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't commit. Just call it a purple Tagalus, but I guess it is kind of purplish. Oh, I got grabby. Yeah, can you blame me? It's broken. So that's a chestnut turban. Some seashells have like a weird orange morph, and the chestnut turban is one of them. So every now and then there'll be a real bright orange version. Oh, that's fun. I'm definitely keeping that. Wish it wasn't broken. I'm going to keep it anyway. Oh no. Come on, Puffer. Yeah, let's get you out. Yep. I suppose if I had to, I could have just collected a big, both hands of like sand and whatnot, but then I wouldn't have been able to record it and you wouldn't just see this cutie pie. All right, I hope you're going to be okay. Yeah, I didn't want to, get wet up to my knees or anything, so kind of just hopefully, yeah, well, you're going to have a much better chance in the water than you are just kind of slurping air up on the beach, so I hope it's okay. Well, that is very orange. And empty. Wow, that aperture is like red. Oh, that's pretty. It's a little black. But my understanding is you can get rid of that black with some hydrogen peroxide. Oh, that's gorgeous. Especially today. So yeah, it's a little funny shaped. It's almost knobless, really bright orange. A terrific fighting conch. Okay, I know what you were thinking. That looks just like a peanut worm. And you would be right. So that is what this weird creature is. So this would normally be buried doing its weird peanut worm thing. Oh, isn't it strange? I couldn't help myself. Oh, you are so weird, little peanut worm. Yeah. So again, normally that would be buried, but I think because of all those high winds that we had been having, me and a couple other people on other beaches also saw this same creature. Now, what does it eat? Well, I'm glad you asked. It eats microscopic algae. It eats bacteria, tiny bits of decaying plants and animals, or really small invertebrates if they get scooped up accidentally. So yeah, it's a weird peanut worm. Yeah, the tide will come get you, buddy. I don't know what to do with you. So I'm just going to leave you alone. I don't know if will the water be bad or good, or the sand is better, I suppose. Yeah, this is an expired sand dollar. It's very hairy, but it's green. And so that would not grow on anything that was alive. So I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to leave that here. And maybe over time, the sun will bleach it. Bye, peanut worm. I'm going to leave you alone. That was weird and cool. I do love weird critter encounters. So the East Coast was a little bit of a bust for me. I got the cowrie. It was still worth it, in my opinion. I did want to see something different. So I guess if that was the goal, and mission accomplished. Over here is from the wind. I've heard that the wind and the tide can be both really, really important when it comes to shelling. Personally, I found just low tide. The high winds can go either way. Yes, I did get that fulgurator olive, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot out there. So I'm glad that I went. We did a little bit of a comparison. I got really cool shells on both coasts, and I also picked up garbage on both coasts. So I did grab a little bit more garbage on the East Coast. That's from Lover's Key. That's 0.2 ounces. And so I just added it to everything from the East Coast. So that's 3.55 ounces. But in total, all together, I've removed a little over 86 pounds of garbage from our beaches. So the East Coast had some sea coconuts, that other little bean. There was a broadrib cardita, a frond oyster, auger, mossy arc, couple of shark eyes, worm snail. There were cross-barred Venus clams, lady-in-waiting Venus clams, the cowrie, the weird thing, the wampum, the one scallop, some dark shells up there, the incongruous arc, some giant bittersweets, regular spectral bittersweets, and then my favorites were the shark eye, the cowrie, and the American star shell. So that's going to be my starter shell. So that was pretty cool, but overall it was pretty dang slim. Now over on the west coast we did get more. So there was some urchins, flat urchins, the sand dollars, a spiny jewel box, a Florida prickly cockle, a sunray Venus clam, an alternate talon, some buttercup lucines, the Atlantic pearl oyster. There's some sunray Venus clams. There is also lady-in-waiting Venus, some jingles, painted egg cockles. These are the calico scallops. There were some augers, some rough scallops, worm snails, one-lettered olive. We have some the crosshatch lucine, the Dosinia lucine, a bay scallop, paper figs, pear whelk, purplish tagalus, calico clams, fighting conch, egg cockle. Wow, there was a lot actually. Chestnut turbans, those kitten paws, the flat. There's a Distosinia bubbles, all those rose petal talons. Yes, I did pick up a couple of the white ones. And then these are honorable mentions: the fighting conch, the Scotch bonnet, and the chestnut turban. But yeah, that shell had me screaming in my head on the beach. The last time that happened was when I got the one-tooth Simnia over in Lighthouse Beach. So even though there wasn't a lot, these moments do stay with me. And I think that's probably another reason that I go out and I do these things, is because it really is, it can be really, really exciting. And I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for my Patreons. Now, Patreons, a lot of people have been asking about a collection video, and so I'm going to put that together for you. Eventually, I'll post that for everybody, but now that I've kind of committed to it, now I have to do it. So hopefully, within the next couple weeks or so, I'll have that over on Patreon. Next week, holy smokes, I'm going to start sharing the cold front videos that came through. So I do have 3 different videos, and yeah, it was awesome. So can't wait to share that next week. So until then, I hope you have yourself a really great week, and I'll see you again next Sunday.